What's going on, everybody? My name is Kenny Tonight, and this is The Night Dimension. And today I'm going to share with you guys the craziest psychedelic experience that I've ever had in my entire life. And this was when I took 7 dried grams of magic mushrooms in silent darkness by myself. And I've been pushing off this video for a little bit because like I said, it's my most profound experience that I've ever had. So I wanted to get a little better at like editing and get a little better at the live action stuff so I could put that stuff in with this. But I've realized that I don't want to put it on any longer because the topic about the trip itself really should speak for itself. So I want to start it off and talk to you guys about. Basically, it was supposed to be 5 grams. It wasn't supposed to be 7 grams. I was planning on taking 5 grams of magic mushrooms by myself in my room at nighttime. So like after my family had gone to sleep, I was going to eat the mushrooms and I was just going to lay down in my room in silent darkness because all of this information that I've heard from Terrence McKenna and Bill Hicks, all these guys who talk about the mushroom, especially Terrence McKenna, because he is the one who really said, silent darkness a lot, and I really cling to that. When I heard him say silent darkness, because it made sense. If there was something that was going to be delivered within you, like a message or a vision, you would want to have the least amount of outside interaction as possible, whether that's light or sound, the least amount of interaction with the physical as possible if this is a mental hallucination of some sort. So silent darkness was the way to go. So I did that. So I called up my guy and I went to go get 5 grams. And when I got there and met him, he told me that he accidentally only brought me an eighth. And it was pretty upsetting. So he fixed himself really quick and was like, "Have you ever done 7 grams?" And I was like, "No way. No, I haven't." And he's like, "Well, I guess you are tonight." So he ended up giving me 2/8 shakes instead of the 5-gram shake. And I was perfectly cool with that because at that point I had only taken mushrooms a couple times in lower doses, and I just really wanted to hit the 5 gram. I wanted to know what Terrence McKenna was talking about when he really explained these visions and these types of experiences. I wanted to know what it all meant. So I was like, all right, whatever. I was a little naive, not knowing that 2 grams would make such a drastic difference. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So fast forward to when I was at home and I drank the shake, and then I drank about half of the other shake because in my head I'm like, what if I just save some for tomorrow? Now I've got since I've got a little bit more, if I enjoy it, I'll save some for tomorrow or another time, and I can just take it another time. So I drank to about 5 grams, and then I left the thing, the other shake just there in my room. And I just remember sitting there and everything just freaking got a holographic color cartoon ultra definition over everything, over every single physical layer. Everything that I could see had a high definition, super futuristic look on it, just vibrating energy off of everything. And that's when I went into the bathroom, and it was just like that, and I looked in the mirror and there was no confusion. It was just like pure energy, like a lot of people say you can get trapped in the mirror, on mushrooms or stuff like that because your face will be morphing, but this was just pure energy. And I was feeling it all. And so I texted my guy right when that was happening, the dude who gave me the mushrooms, and I told him, "Bro, everyone has to see this. Like, everyone has to experience what I was feeling in that moment because it was just so beyond incredible and beautiful." But that wasn't even when the trip started. I thought that was like the epitome of it. I was not even close. And so I was like, wow, this is super dope. This is super awesome. I want to see if I can, get this a little bit more. And so I just decided to drink the rest of that shake. So 7 grams down altogether. And that's when I sat down there and I laid down and I was having fun. I was having a great time just in my room looking at everything with the lights on. And that's when I realized what my true intention was, and that was silent darkness. And so I remember turning the light off and sitting down, and meditating and closing my eyes, and almost instantly, it was like the darkness behind my eyes started to turn into shaders of being, like an upper body and a face, and they were just like coming in at me, like millions of these beings. Obviously it wasn't millions, but it just felt like they were just overlapping each other, and it was just these spirit bodies or these aliens or whatever. I thought they were aliens. I'm gonna speak to the alien, just like Terence McKenna would talk about, like you're gonna communicate with the super intelligence and all that stuff. So I'm closing my eyes and I'm seeing that these things are just coming so fast. And the only way I could explain it to people is like, imagine you're in your room alone, right? You're just doing your thing in your room, and somebody walks in the room and you don't know, and they kind of like walk up on you and you're like, it's that feeling. It was that feeling times a billion, because it was like I knew I was in my room alone, and then all of a sudden I shut the light off, closed my eyes, and all of a sudden it felt like there were people there. It felt like there were real people, real living like entities were there, but like I said, they were these spirit bodies. So I turned the light right back on because I was like terrified. This was the most real thing I had ever experienced in my life, because it was really happening to me. Just like these guys say, it's going to happen to you, and you're going to think it's not going to happen to you, but it's really going to happen to you. And so I turned the light on because I was terrified. And my sister told me the next morning, because she was in the room next to me, that I did that about 10 times, to where I jumped up, turned the light off, went there, saw the beings, got terrified, turned the light back on, but it was like consistently back and forth. It was like consistently, the moment I shut the light off, they were coming. And the moment I turned the light back on, it was like that same energy, vibrant, physical world. So finally, I just decided I've got to do this. This is what I've got to do, because sometimes with the mushroom, you can feel like, oh, time's running out. I don't have enough time. I got to do it. I've got to meet it now, or like I got to see it now, And so that's what I was thinking. So I just turned the light off and dove into the pillow. And at that point, it kind of just went a million, these spirit beings came and just came over me completely and dove me down into my bed. And this trip is so heavy, so I really feel it when I talk about it. That's why I wanted to wait so long to explain to you guys about this experience. But I got dove down into my bed, and that's when chaos started to erupt, and confusion started to overwhelm me, because I was just going crazy. I didn't know what was happening at that point. After the beings kind of came and threw me down and was like, look at this, and then they kind of left for a minute. And then it's just all these visions and all these things were going through in my head. And I had to keep reminding myself everything that Terence McKenna had said, Bill Hicks had said, Alan Watts had said, Joe Rogan had said, like all this dialogue about what the mushroom was and the mushroom experience and how you're going to be okay. All that stuff was just repeating over and over in my head, like a mantra. And that was kind of getting me through, because there was one point literally where like I was reaching to the edges of my bed and it felt like I was in the middle of infinity. Like I couldn't feel my walls, I couldn't feel the bed, I couldn't feel the surrounding carpet. It was like the craziest feeling. And then after all that had happened, I don't remember exactly how the transition occurred, but at one point there was basically a point where my ceiling came off, my roof came off, and there was the most futuristic sounds and lights that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I kid you not, if a UFO or a flying saucer was real, this is exactly what it would have looked like and sounded like. And it was happening in my bedroom. The ceiling was gone, the roof was gone, and it was there. And the lights were coming down. You know, whether it was it was definitely a hallucination that I was having, but it felt real. Like, it felt like my eyes were wide open, you know, even though I was closed, dove down into this pillow. You know, it felt like my eyes were wide open and I was going through this experience. And so the ceiling went, and like I said, the light came down and all the futuristic sounds and everything like that. And all I remember is basically being led up a ramp with the same beings on each side of it as I originally saw in the beginning of the hallucination. It was these same beings, these like shader bodies, you know, like they're just shaded bodies. It's weird to explain, like spirit bodies, no legs, but just like the upper body and the head. And they were on each side, and it led me up into this UFO or flying saucer. I don't want to think that they're aliens. It's some futuristic fucking technological thing that happened, though, that they had. And so basically went on there, and they informed me that I was going to be an advocate for the species, for the mushroom, is that I was going to be maybe not an advocate, but like a spokesperson for the species, for the mushroom. And I was going to bring word down to earth about the mushroom and about the truth of reality and the truth to earth. And that's what these spirits were telling me, is that that's what I was chosen to do, is to spread word about these plants and about the real truth about why we're here. And I was naive. I was a naive little kid, so I just wanted to know more, you know? That could have been everything right there. I mean, that's my purpose, you know? That should have been everything for me, but it wasn't. I wanted more. And I basically kept asking them questions, and it was. Terence McKenna once explains that it's like an instant reaction. You ask a question, and the mushroom is literally instant. It's almost instinctual how fast you come back with the answer. And I was just asking it questions about everything. And then finally it came down to what is this all about? Or what's the secret? That was my agenda. What is the secret, you know, and what's the secret to reality? What's the secret to the world? You know, that was my agenda. And the mushroom basically told me this. And that was it. That was all it said. It said it instantly, though. And then I basically was like, what do you mean this? Do you mean life? Do you mean this experience? Do you mean the mushroom? And I basically was asking a bunch of stuff. And then that's when I remember being thrown back down. It was like, we've shown you all you need to know for the moment. And it threw me back down into my bedroom. And as that happened, my mom rushed through the bedroom door, which I actually found out the next morning. She never did this. It was actually a hallucination. But maybe, you know, my mother, Gaian, Earth, you know, Mother Earth, I don't know if that had something to do with it, but my mother came into my bedroom and was just frantic, like, why are you doing this? Why is the mattress on the ground? We told you not to take that. We told you shouldn't be doing these things. It's just gonna make, you know, like, she was just frantic, going crazy. And then I remember being told that if you ask the mushroom to calm down, it will. You know, that the mushroom, if it's too heavy, the mushroom will slow down up on you. And so that's what I did. I basically asked the mushroom, I was like, no more, please, no more, you know, because it was not enjoyable, you know, going from ecstasy to this just freaking reality strike, you know, reality hits. And so after I basically asked for it to stop, I was thrown back into my bed, and I was in the middle of the cosmos. And that's as crazy as it can be, but like, this was the most extreme trip I've ever had. I was flying, going like this in the middle of the cosmos, in the middle of the stars and galaxies and planets passing by me at a million miles per hour at light speed. I'm just going like this, having the greatest time in the world. And I did that for about 30 minutes. And then after that happened, it literally was like waking up from a dream. It was like waking up from a dream. I basically sat up. I was completely normal again. And I was back. And I was saying to myself, there's no way that that just happened. There is no way that that just happened. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that that happened in my room. And I didn't have to instigate the situation. I didn't have to put any music on. I didn't have to meditate in any certain way. I didn't have to do, all I had to do was take the correct dosage and surrender myself to the experience. And I think that in essence, that was the true message of the experience, is that if you really want to know, you have to go all out. And that's what it did. I wanted to know, and it definitely showed me. So I'm really glad I decided to put this video out there. It reminds me a lot about my purpose, that I am sort of a person who wants to talk about the mushroom and to share the truth about this experience, and that the reality is we may have been using these tools for thousands of years and had very, very, very positive experiences and lifelong changes which lead us throughout our entire lives. And so I think I'm going to end the video there. This was the longest video I've ever done. Different than everything. I'm working on a skit for Salvia Divinorum. And that one's going to be good. It's going to be funny. If you guys want to help support the channel, support the skits to make them better, I have a one-time donation on PayPal me. If not, dab on the mother effing haters. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys didn't see my last video, please go check that out. I'm going to put, that's going to be one of the related videos, but please go check it out. Most time I've ever put into editing a video, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So actually, here's a clip.
To victory. Yes, I know I was going to save the village, but I decided it was a better idea to take over the village. Become their king.
But anything, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys next time. I'll definitely be here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.